Hi, I'm Carol, and welcome to this video of Yoga Basics. I have made these short videos to help give you information on starting a yoga practice. So if you're new to yoga, if you're a beginner in yoga, or maybe if you're a full-time student and you just want to check back on some things. We'll talk about many things. There's a lot to learn in yoga. From sitting, from positions, to prop stews, to breathing. I hope you find these videos helpful and that they help you get started into a lifetime practice of yoga. If you have any questions, please leave me comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. You're here to learn, so let's get started. So let's talk about how to sit comfortably at the start of your yoga practice. Traditionally, sitting cross-legged is the position. However, for us seniors, for people new to yoga, it's just not an easy pose to be in. So I'm sitting cross-legged, but I'm sitting on the edge of yoga blankets. So I'm going to demonstrate that option first to you and show you the difference. So if I was to sit cross-legged without coming off my yoga blankets, this is how my knees would be. And this is creating tension in my inner thighs, the back of my hips and my lower back. And if you're a beginner, your knees may be up here, or depending on your ankles, your knees and your hips, you may not even be able to get here. But if you're close to something like this to begin with, then there's an option of sitting on the edge of a yoga blanket. And if you don't have a yoga blanket, just a nice firm blanket that you can roll and give an edge, and I will demonstrate it to you. Well, as I said, in the last year or so, I've been sitting on the edge of 2 blankets because I just need that little extra height. But if you have a yoga blanket, you take the length. Yoga blankets about 2.5 to 3 pounds in weight, so they have a heaviness to them. They're not a soft, fluffy blanket. So if you don't have a yoga blanket, just find something firm. Even those moving blankets that you can buy at Home Depot or Harbor Freight are great to use to sit on, and they're very inexpensive. But if you have a yoga blanket, you would fold it in half lengthways and then fold it in half again. So now it's quarter. And from this position, you would tri-fold it all 4 times. So if you find that, you take the fringe away from you so you have the rolled edge in front. And I'm going to sit sideways so you can see. So you can see how my knees are with my hips here. If I sit on a blanket, it's exactly the same. It's really no difference. But if I walk forward and let my tailbone just come off the tip of the blanket, it allows the back of the hips to come up, engages away from the lower back muscles, and then I can see where I can sit. I'm still a little higher off the ground, but I'm not here. So just sitting on the edge, it's rolling off the edge of the blanket, really helps. But as you can see, I'm still not that comfortable. So an option would be to find blocks. And if you don't have blocks, books, hardback books would be fine. You just plop them under the legs, so legs are now supported, so there's no energy in the lower back, so you can sit up nice and tall. Another option would be exactly what I do, is I grab my second yoga blanket. I put 2 together. And again, it's not to sit on the blanket here, it really doesn't do you anything. But if you come forward like you're going to fall off the blanket and then try and sit cross-legged, and you can see the difference it's made to me just by coming onto the edge of a blanket. So that might work for many people. If not, there's many other options. You can sit still rolling off your blanket with your legs forward and maybe roll a towel underneath your knees. Here, this could be comfortable. You could sit with your feet to the floor, but as long as you're not rounding, if you hold the back of the thighs, press down into the sit bones and rise, you'll feel the energy come up here, because we want the lungs to be open so we can breathe when we do what we call our centering breath at the start of our yoga practices. So those are options. Another option, depending on your tops of your feet, your ankles, and your knees, is what we call straddle. So you could take a couple of yoga blankets, should I say, or you can find a block, which would be a book if you don't have a yoga block. and place that on your block so it's comfortable. So yeah, a couple of blankets or a block and a blanket. And then you can straddle it so it comes between you. And it depends if you can be on the tops of your feet here or not. But for many students, this is comfortable. I'll just turn it to the side so you can see. So I'm tall. So it allows the lungs to open, and I can just rest my hands where they're comfortable, shoulders down the back, and relax. And this, I can breathe quite easily. But again, depends on your knees and your ankles, of course. Another option, one I really like, sometimes when I meditate, this is my option. I take my block or my blankets or a combination of the two, and I take it to a wall. So when I come to the wall and sit at the wall, and again, legs can be crossed here, they can be forward or out in front of you. And I lean, well, I'm not leaning, I have the back of my hips, the back of my shoulders, and the back of my head on the wall. I'm really supported, so I really don't have to think about spending energy to be up nice and tall. And again, when we're breathing deep and the belly is expanding and the chest is opening, there's space here in the front of the body, especially for the lungs to really open and move. So that's another great alternative. So you have to play around. Just like, is this going to work, rolling off the edge of a blanket? Do you need books or blocks to come up into a much higher height? Do you want to straddle? Sometimes sitting just doesn't work. Or if you've had a really busy day and you're extremely tired, even if you're used to sitting, you might not want to sit. So a great position is called constructive rest. This is great because you don't have to think about sitting at all. So you would be on your back, feet would be about as wide as your mat. The knees come in to rest against each other, and the toes point in towards the center of your mat a little bit. And then make sure you're nice and long through the spine. Maybe lift the head, tuck the chin so the back of the neck is long. And then you can place the back of your hands down. You can have one hand on your heart and one on your belly. This is great. You'll really feel your breath when you're breathing. From here, you may want a little small hand towel and roll it so you've got a little support underneath the neck. You don't want the chin up towards the sky here. Or maybe a little bit of a blanket like this under the head. But you don't want too much that your chin is so tucked that it's squishing down on the thyroid there. So a little hand towel rolled under the neck, a little lift for the head. Just depends on what feels best for you. So those are some options on how to sit ready for your centering breath at the beginning of your yoga practice. I hope I've explained it for you that you can find a place that you can sit comfortably or be truly comfortable at the start of each and every yoga practice. Breathwork is going to be very difficult if you're not seated comfortably. And yoga is all about the body moving on the breath being the most important. So play around and find the position that works best for you. And then change it up when you're ready to. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.